The Arctic. Just uttering the word sent shivers down my spine, a cocktail of fear and excitement bubbling in my stomach. And it had been a lifelong dream, this journey to the top of the world, to Alaska's untamed wilderness. And finally, it was here, about to transform from a dot on the map to a breathtaking reality. Packing for the Arctic was like preparing for a different planet. Every item felt crucial, layers upon layers of clothes to combat the biting cold, sturdy boots to navigate the icy terrain. My backpack felt heavier with each passing moment, but so did my sense of anticipation. We landed in Fairbanks, a bustling outpost on the edge of a vast frozen ocean. The air was crisp, biting, a raw kiss from the wild. The excitement in our group was palpable, everyone buzzing with the same unspoken question. What awaited us in the great white expanse? As we boarded a smaller plane, leaving behind the last vestiges of civilization, I knew there was no turning back. The Arctic was calling, and we were ready to answer. The small aircraft soared over a sea of white, the landscape below a stark, breathtaking canvas. Mountains clawed at the sky, their peaks capped with snow that glinted like diamonds in the sun. Below, frozen rivers snaked through the valleys, their surfaces etched with intricate patterns of ice. We landed on a frozen lake, the silence deafening as the engine sputtered and died. Stepping out onto the pristine snow, the cold hit me with a force I had never experienced, seeping through my layers. I took a deep breath, the air sharp and clean, and felt a sense of exhilaration wash over me. Our guide, a weathered Alaskan named Ben, greeted us with a warm smile. He was a man of few words, his face etched with the stories of 1,000 expeditions. With a voice roughened by the wind, he told us, "The Arctic demands respect. Listen to her and she will reward you." His words were a constant reminder of where we were, of the raw power and unforgiving nature of this land. But beneath the harsh exterior, I could sense a delicate beauty, a fragile ecosystem that took your breath away. Our journey had just begun, but I knew deep within my soul that the Arctic had already left its mark. The Arctic is a land of giants, towering mountains, vast glaciers, and of course, the magnificent creatures that call this unforgiving environment home. We were on the lookout for one in particular, the polar bear. Trudging through the snow, our breath misting in the air, we scanned the horizon for any sign of movement. The silence was broken only by the crunch of our boots and the occasional cry of a bird overhead. Then Ben stopped, his eyes narrowed. He pointed to a set of tracks in the distance, large and unmistakable. "Polar bear!" he whispered, his voice filled with a mixture of awe and caution. We followed him, our senses on high alert, our hearts pounding with a mix of fear and excitement. We never did get a clear view of the bear, but the encounter left an indelible mark. To know that these apex predators roamed this land, perfectly adapted to its harsh conditions, filled me with a sense of wonder. But the Arctic is home to more than just polar bears. We were fortunate enough to see herds of caribou, their antlers like crowns against the snow, and Arctic foxes, their white coats blending seamlessly with the landscape. Each encounter was a reminder of the delicate balance of life that existed in this extreme environment. The Arctic is a harsh mistress, her beauty often masked by a raw, untamed power. We learned this lesson the hard way when a blizzard swept in, transforming the landscape from serene to savage in the blink of an eye. The wind howled like a banshee, whipping the snow into a blinding whiteout. Visibility dropped to mere feet, the temperature plummeting to a bone-chilling level. We huddled together, our backs to the wind, our faces covered against the biting cold. For hours, the storm raged, testing our limits, pushing us to the edge. Fear gnawed at the edges of my mind, but I fought it back, reminding myself that we were prepared, that Ben would see us through, and he did. As the storm subsided, leaving behind an eerie silence, Ben navigated us back to camp, his knowledge of the land our lifeline. That night, huddled in our tents, the wind still whistling outside, we were bound by a shared experience, a newfound respect for the raw power of the Arctic. The blizzard was a stark reminder that we were merely visitors in this land, subject to its whims. It was a humbling experience, one that I knew would stay with me long after I had left the Arctic behind. The Arctic landscape is a study in contrasts, stark and unforgiving, yet breathtakingly beautiful. It's a world of ice and stone, sculpted by wind, water, and time itself. We hiked through valleys carved by glaciers, their walls towering above us, a testament to the awesome power of nature. We gazed upon frozen waterfalls, their cascades frozen in time like sculptures chiseled from crystal. And we stood at the edge of glaciers, their vastness humbling, their icy breath a reminder of the forces that shape this land. The colors of the Arctic were unlike anything I'd ever seen. The snow, far from being simply white, shimmered with 1,000 shades, from pale blues to warm pinks depending on the light. The sky, vast and endless, was a canvas for auroras, dancing rivers of green and purple light that left us speechless. Every turn, every step revealed a new wonder. The Arctic was a feast for the senses, a symphony of ice and stone that left an indelible mark on my soul. It was a place of stark beauty, a reminder of the raw power and artistry of nature. In the vast expanse of the Arctic, human life seemed like a rare and precious thing, yet we were fortunate enough to encounter some of the people who call this unforgiving land home, the Inuit. We visited a small Inuit village nestled between the mountains and the sea. The people welcomed us with open arms, their smiles as warm as the fire that crackled in the center of their community house. They shared their stories, their traditions, and their deep connection to the land. We learned about their history, their resilience in the face of hardship, and their wisdom in living in harmony with nature. They spoke of the changing climate, of the melting ice, and the impact it was having on their way of life. Their words were a stark reminder of the fragility of this ecosystem and the urgent need to protect it. Leaving the village, I carried with me a profound sense of respect for the Inuit people. They had shown us the true meaning of resilience, of community, and of living in balance with nature. Their lessons would stay with me, a reminder of the interconnectedness of all things. The Arctic tested me, pushed me to my limits, both physically and mentally. The relentless cold, the unforgiving terrain, the ever-present awareness of my own vulnerability, it was a crash course in resilience. There were moments when I wanted to give up, when the cold seeped into my bones and the fatigue threatened to overwhelm me, but I kept going, driven by a primal instinct to survive, to overcome the challenges that nature threw my way. I learned to read the subtle signs of the land, to anticipate the dangers, and to appreciate the small victories. Each successful river crossing, each night spent huddled in our tents against the howling wind, each step forward through the snow. They were all testaments to the human spirit's ability to adapt and overcome. The Arctic taught me the importance of perseverance, of pushing beyond my perceived limitations. It showed me the strength that lies dormant within us all, waiting to be unleashed in the face of adversity. It was a lesson I would carry with me long after I had left the frozen wilderness behind. As our time in the Arctic drew to a close, a bittersweet feeling settled over me. Part of me longed for the comforts of civilization, for a warm shower and a soft bed. But another part of me, a part that had awakened amidst the ice and snow, yearned to stay, to linger in this raw and unforgiving paradise. We stood on a ridge, gazing out at the endless expanse of white, the sun painting the snowdrifts with hues of gold and pink. The silence was profound, broken only by the whisper of the wind and the distant cry of a bird. In that moment, I felt an overwhelming sense of peace, a connection to something far greater than myself. The Arctic had stripped away all that was superfluous, all the noise and distractions of modern life, leaving me with a profound sense of clarity. Turning back, I knew that I was leaving a part of myself behind, a part that would forever be drawn to the wildness, the beauty, and the raw power of the Arctic. But I also knew that I was taking something invaluable with me, a newfound appreciation for the fragility of our planet and a commitment to protecting it. Returning to civilization was a shock to the system. The noise, the crowds, the constant stimulation. It was overwhelming after the stark silence and solitude of the Arctic. Yet a part of me missed it, the simplicity, the rawness, the feeling of being truly alive. The Arctic had changed me, there was no denying it. It had stripped me bare, exposed my vulnerabilities, and forced me to confront my own mortality. but it had also revealed a strength I never knew I possessed, a resilience forged in ice and snow. I carried the Arctic with me, and the memories etched into my mind and the lessons carved into my soul. It was a constant reminder to live deliberately, to appreciate the small things, and to never take our planet for granted. The Arctic was more than just a destination. It was an experience, a journey of self-discovery, a testament to the enduring power of nature to challenge, to inspire, and to transform. And it was a reminder that some journeys never truly end, their echoes resonating within us long after we've taken our final steps.